Coming up on Mountain News this morning, an Eastern Kentucky community says goodbye to one of the officers who died last week in Floyd County, and reporters reflect on the time they spent with Deputy William Petrie and the stories he took part in.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning to you. 4:59 on this Wednesday morning. I'm Dakota Makris. Let's take it over to Brandon this morning. Brandon, all calm and, well, it's calm outside right now. So,
right now.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot to talk about, and some of it developed in the last about hour or so. So let's get right into it this morning. Now, we're not going to talk about it all right now, but we're going to break it down in two different main weather segments for you. This morning, rain is trying to return from the north. I think it holds off for a little while there. You see it near Parkersburg, up toward the Charleston area. But again, I do think it holds off until this afternoon. So that means we'll start off the day with a little bit of sunshine. We're going to see some fog, though, as we head out the door this morning. Dodged some of that on my way in. So 4 miles of visibility at Harlan, 6 miles at Jacksboro. Everybody else is showing full visibility. But here's the thing. Those are sensors at airports, and airports are up high. The fog is in the valleys this morning. Temperature's still very mild. It's cooler in some places. 62 Clintwood, 64 Wise, 68 Logan, Harlan, and Jonesville, Manchester too. Everybody else, actually Middlesboro's at 69. Everybody else now in the 70s so far this morning. Breakfast forecast, I do believe we'll start right around 70, give or take a degree or two by 7 o'clock, and then temperatures will go up quickly as we head toward 8 o'clock and beyond. 90s our forecast high today, and there are a lot of things to tell you about between now and then. I'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Brandon. Thank you. Tuesday was a somber day in Floyd County as the first of 3 officers and a canine officer killed in line of duty was laid to rest. William Petrie's funeral service happened Tuesday morning with a horse drum procession following. Numerous members of the law enforcement community came to Floyd County to pay their respects to their fallen colleague. Community members also filled the Mountain Arts Center to pay their respects.
In a small community like this, any little thing is set to where everyone hears about it so fast. You never want this to happen, and especially not in your community.
Deputy Petrie, along with 2 other officers and a police canine, were killed during a shooting on Thursday in the Allen community. And that procession was an emotional one for all involved. Following the procession of family, friends, and law enforcement officers from across the state, Deputy Petrie was laid to rest at Gethsemane Gardens near Prestonsburg. Keith Bartley, the Floyd County attorney, says he is grateful for the outpouring of love and support from the community.
It is very heartfelt to see all of the unity of not only police officers but of people in the community to come together in this case. Under horrendous circumstances.
Captain Ralph Frazier's funeral will be today, and Officer Jacob Chafin's funeral will be Thursday, both at 1 p.m. at the Mountain Arts Center, and a dog-friendly remembrance for Canine Officer Drago will be Friday evening at 6 o'clock, also at the MAC. Well, many of our reporters met Deputy William Petrie through his countless years at different police agencies in the Big Sandy. He retired from the Kentucky State Police post in Pikeville in 2020 after more than 1 decade there. We talked with 3 reporters who knew him well from covering stories in the Big Sandy region.
When I start my tour of duty, God, wherever crime may be, as I walk the darkened streets alone, let me be close to Thee.
You may know Deputy William Petrie from your TV screen. Former WYMT reporter Marianne Fletcher calls him the former voice of Kentucky State Police Post 9.
I talk to Petrie probably every day of my life, if not every other day of my life. And if it wasn't just, hey, did you hear about this? Hey, what's going on here? It's, hey, how are you today?
Petrie was always a text message or a phone call away.
I texted him and I said, hey, are you okay?
But he never replied.
I knew something was wrong, but I just didn't want to, I really didn't want to believe it.
And I can remember walking into both Prestonsburg Police Department or maybe doing a safety story with KSP and running into him, or maybe seeing him at Post 9. And I mean, he always had a smile on his face. He always seemed really interested.
Former WYMT reporter Angela Sparkman Evans says through the years they worked together, her favorite story to cover was Shop with a Cop.
The care that he took with those children and making sure that they got everything they wanted in the store and just, how he would work with them going through the store, the checkout line.
He loved his job because he was called to do it. It's a calling. Law enforcement isn't just a job, it's a calling. And he loved it with a passion.
Lord, if some dark and dreary night I must give my life, Lord, with your everlasting love, protect my children and my wife.
Well, the reporters we talked with say the loss of the 3 officers and the canine officer will always be felt throughout the Big Sandy. As the community honors the fallen officers in Floyd County, we turn to the investigation into the deadly shooting in Allen. We know the officers were serving an emergency protection order, something deputies say can be a very dangerous part of their job since they often deal with strained relationships and intense emotions. The presence of law enforcement can sometimes serve to escalate the tension further.
Typically when you're vacating the individual or child custody, of course, that's when individuals sometimes get heated.
People feel like, hey, maybe this person lied on me, or maybe you're taking that person's side.
Well, departments say they are reviewing the Floyd County situation to see what changes can be made to EPO procedures. The suspect, Lance Stores, is being held on a $10 million bond and faces a list of charges, including murder of a police officer, attempted murder, and assault of a service animal. Well, thank you so much for getting your Wednesday morning started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Coming up next, the federal judge reenacts certain rules of a policy meant to protect endangered species here in the U.S.
And the forecast continues to stay unsettled as we head through the daytime hours. I'll break it all down for you in about 3 minutes.